Hey YouTube viewers, you're on Venrow Wolf Reviews, and for my first video, this will be the part 1 of a versus matchup between two animated movies starring everyone's favorite video game icons, Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario the Italian Plumber. I've decided to compare these two movies since Mario and Sonic are gaming's best known rivals. It would only make sense to match up their first animated movies. And just to clarify, so I don't cause any confusion, this is not a comparison of the live-action Sonic movies from Paramount Pictures and the live-action Super Mario Bros. 1993 movie or the upcoming Mario movie by Illumination. This is a comparison of the 2D animated movies that came out during the 1980s and 1990s. So then, now that I have that out of the way, let's press the start button for this movie gaming battle. Sonic the Hedgehog, or better known as the Sonic OVA movie, was a 2-episode original video animation by Sega Enterprises, with the 2 episodes being titled Welcome to Eggman Land and Sonic vs. Metal Sonic, which was released in Japan in 1996, but didn't reach America until 1999, where it was re-released as a single direct-to-video film titled Sonic the Hedgehog the Movie. The Super Mario Bros. Movie was released in Japanese theaters as Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach by Group Productions in 1986, 1 year after the original Super Mario Bros. Game, but was never released in America. There are some English fan dubs and subs available here on YouTube, but for this video, I'll be using the fan dub from the YouTube channel Sharpness Night Studios. Now for the first part of this analysis, I'll be comparing the two movies' openings because, as it is with most movies, the openings for these two set up the tone and upcoming conflict. The opening for the Sonic OVA movie has a very dark, cool, and ominous tone, showing Dr. Robotnik slowly finishing up Metal Sonic, saying that he's almost complete and all he needs now is the essential life data from his counterpart, and once he finally awakens, he wants Metal Sonic to kill the real Sonic. It finally finishes up with the title of the movie, Sonic the Hedgehog, appearing in a fast and flashy 3D motion. What makes this opening so suspenseful is that everything is shown in a black and dark blue background, and it slowly keeps showing Metal Sonic fading in and out while also hearing the sound of his heartbeat. And when Robotnik tells Metal Sonic to kill the real Sonic, his eyes shine bright red, showing that soon he'll be ready for battle. Not to mention, everything is played out very slowly, so you'll gradually get reeled into the tension, but most importantly, it sets up the clash of the movie of Sonic having to face this dangerous new creation built by the genius and mad Dr. Robotnik. Now for the Mario movie, by contrast, the opening is just okay. It immediately begins with Mario playing a video game, with Luigi trying to give Mario some tea, but he doesn't want it because he's too addicted to his game, so Luigi decides to leave the room. Let's not lie to ourselves, we've all been there before. But then Mario's game shuts off, only to have Peach, for some reason, pop out of the TV, along with all the Mario foes, who start flying around the room, and then they suddenly just explode. Mario and Peach get a few seconds to introduce themselves, and it's a pretty cute scene. The two of them are both scared, nervous, but still really happy to meet each other for the first time, with a nice peaceful piano song playing in the background. But sadly, their moment is cut off when Bowser also comes out of the TV. Mario cowers in fear, but Peach keeps encouraging him that he can fight off Bowser. But when Mario tries to fight him off, Bowser easily smashes him through the floor with one claw and takes Peach back into the TV. Luigi comes back into the room wanting to know what's happening, but when Mario tells Luigi about Peach, he just laughs it off and says it was a dream. Mario then notices the diamond necklace Peach dropped on the floor and starts thinking about her, and then it cuts to the title screen, which looks kind of generic. The opening is fine enough, But there are so many things happening here with no explanation. Why did Peach pop out of Mario's TV? How was she even able to find Mario in the first place? Why do all the Mario foes explode? Why isn't Mario able to follow Bowser back inside the TV? Is Mario's TV some sort of portal to the Mushroom Kingdom? And why am I asking so many questions about Mario's TV? The Sonic movie has the better opening because of its dark, engaging, and suspenseful atmosphere and solid structure that gets you interested into the movie, which is something the opening for the Mario movie lacks. It isn't awful, it's just bare bones. So the movie with the better opening is the Sonic OVA movie. Now to compare the stories. The story for the Mario movie is fine enough for what it is. It's exactly what you'd expect out of a Super Mario Bros. Film. Mario and Luigi go on a long journey throughout the Mushroom Kingdom to save Princess Peach, who's been kidnapped by Bowser and being forced into marrying him, while Mario is in hopes that by doing so, he'll end up winning the heart of Princess Peach, and that's pretty much all there is to it. And it's good that the movie is accurate to the original game, even great if you're the type of audience that loves that. I actually prefer when adaptations are more accurate to the source material, but the problem is that the movie is almost too accurate, which can occasionally be a problem because it doesn't give itself any new or original content that gives the viewer a reason to watch it. Since it was one of the earliest video game movies, it makes sense that it's entirely the same as the 1985 Mario Brothers game. But if the movie is just going to be exactly like the game, then you're pretty much better off playing the games. Actually, no, I take that back. There is one major change, but it's not for the better. It actually works to the film's detriment. The first half of the movie isn't even about Mario and Luigi saving Peach. It's about them finding the 3 iconic power-ups so that Mario will have the power to beat Bowser. The power-ups in the games are there to provide new abilities and make it easier to beat, but you could still technically win without them. It would just be harder to. But here in the movie, he completely needs them to fight Bowser and save Peach, so Mario is regrettably kind of weak relying on power-ups. But the biggest thing wrong with the Mario movie's story is that after defeating Bowser, Mario never ends up with Peach. Instead, she marries some random nobody prince who's shoehorned in, leaving an empty feeling that Mario's dreams was crushed. The story isn't bad, it's just okay. And yes, I know one of the major criticisms of the live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie is that it's hardly like the games at all, but that's a whole other discussion that I don't have time to get into right now. Now, in contrast, the story for the Sonic OVA movie is actually really interesting and creative. The movie's about Sonic and Tails after being informed by Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman, that a robot generator has been activated by a giant robot named Metal Robotnik in his home dimension, the Land of Darkness, and if the generator isn't stopped by tomorrow, there'll be a giant explosion, so they need to make their way to the city of Robotropolis, where the generator is located, and shut it down. But when Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, who joins along the way, destroy Metal Robotnik and shut down the generator, it's revealed that it was all a lie by Dr. Robotnik, and his real plan was to capture and scan Sonic for his life data to finish his ultimate creation, Hyper Metal Sonic. And now it's up to Sonic and friends to stop Robotnik and Metal Sonic from destroying their home, the Land of the Sky. This is a really inventive and unique story that adapts pretty well from the classic games while adding its own original spin that's unlike anything we've seen before by placing the characters in brand new and amazing looking settings and creating a more complex story rather than just stop Dr. Robotnik from taking over the world. However, the movie's story isn't perfect. It has its fair share of plot holes. For instance, Robotnik tells Sonic and Tails about the robot generator, and Metal Robotnik right when he was just holding the president and his daughter Sarah hostage with his deadly robots, and they just immediately get over it. And only a few minutes later, when Sonic and Tails head out for Metropolis, Sarah threatens to stop being his hostage if they don't keep playing their video game. So why are they even listening to Robotnik? Not only that, but they don't even question that the giant robot which supposedly came out of nowhere has the exact same name as him. It's also strange that Robotnik never explains how catastrophic the explosion will be. He never says the explosion will be so powerful that both their dimensions would be obliterated. So it doesn't make any sense on why Sonic and Tails would go out of their way to save their enemy's home city, because if Robotropolis is in another dimension within their world, Planet Freedom, wouldn't that mean that only Robotropolis would be destroyed and their home, the Land of the Sky, would still be safe? I also find it strange that in the English dub, the city is called Robotropolis in the first place instead of Eggman Land, like in the Japanese dub, because isn't Robotropolis supposed to be the luscious green city that was actually the home of Sonic and Tails that was once known as Mobotropolis until it was taken over by Robotnik? I guess it's probably a different continuity thing. But why does Dr. Robotnik, when he's piloting Metal Robotnik, try to kill Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles if his plan is to trap and scan Sonic to finish Metal Sonic? And then Knuckles tells Tails and the President that Robotnik's plan of using Metal Sonic to destroy the Land of the Sky is destroying an enormous glacier that actually holds the Land of the Sky together, because there's magma flowing in the glaciers like blood vessels, and if the glacier is destroyed, the magma would burst out, melting the glacier, setting the Land of the Sky into outer space. That actually sounds pretty cool, but excuse me, what? The Land of the Sky is a series of floating islands, so how could they be held together by a glacier? And how could magma be flowing in a glacier? The magma would have melted the glacier by itself, because it's magma. And even if it's possible, at the final battle, Metal Sonic actually does unleash the magma, so shouldn't they all be dead? I guess it's because Knuckles dug a hole leading the magma in a different direction, but then the President crashes his rocket into the main ice bridge, and then the rocket explodes, so shouldn't they be dead anyway? Alright, so even though the Sonic movie does have a lot of things happening that don't add up, it still has an investing and adventurous story. Magma flowing through a glacier doesn't make any sense, but at least it serves as an importance of how Robotnik is going to use Metal Sonic to destroy the Land of the Sky. The story for the Mario movie is just a copy and paste of the games. Both of these movies have their own flaws, but the winner for this round of Best Story goes to the Sonic OVA movie. Now it's time to compare the animation and visuals. Alright everyone, before I start, here's one quick disclaimer. I'm not the best when it comes to giving a full detailed description of how good or bad animation is or its art style. So sorry if I don't fully describe the animation in these two movies in the best detail. Okay, here I go. The animation for the Sonic OVA movie is pretty good. It has a similar art style to your typical 90s anime like Evangelion and Pokemon The Indigo League, but I think the movie's strongest points are in its visuals, and yeah, they're pretty cool. Now just by looking at it, you can tell that the animation is based off of the cutscenes from the video game Sonic the Hedgehog CD, where it shows Sonic running past rivers so fast he creates rainbows, shattering boulders, boosting high in the sky. You get the picture. Well, the movie does a good job on incorporating those visuals by having the characters perform the same type of stunts and action sequences. Like the scene where Sonic saves Tails and Old Man Owl from the rocket exploding off the edge of the cliff by showing off his high speeds, leaving huge trails of dust on the beach, running on the cliffside while performing the super peel out and spin dash, heading into the explosion, and soaring in the sky with Tails and an Old Man Owl in his hands. Or the awakening of Metal Sonic, where it shows Metal Sonic inside a blue sphere covered in pink flames with wind circling around and huge volts of electricity shocking everywhere, while showing off shots of Metal Sonic at different viewpoints, making this a suspenseful scene showing they're in trouble now. Speaking of awakening scenes, after losing his first fight with Metal Sonic and being knocked out of the sky, Sonic slowly regains consciousness in an amazingly detailed, full of life, and bright green forest that gives off a feeling of comforting peacefulness. But I think the best visual scene is when Sonic and Tails first crash land into the Land of Darkness. With the tornado out of commission, they head out while displaying high boosting speeds, running through a dark green swamp-like forest, jumping over a spring, spikes, and mountains, fighting their way through an army of badniks, and moving so fast they zip through a warp zone. If there's anything you can really love about the Sonic OVA movie, it's the visuals. The animation for the Mario movie is very colorful, but mainly just okay. It's not bad, but it looks pretty slow, kind of dull, and ultimately average looking. It was released in 1986 and made by a smaller studio that I don't think anyone knows about, so I can't be too harsh on the movie's animation, but it's still mediocre, and unlike the Sonic movie, it doesn't even have any cool action-packed visuals. Well, sort of. There are moments throughout the movie when Mario and Luigi are on their journey and the background keeps randomly changing. For instance, a bunch of cube-shaped clouds and red sea bombs in the sky change into a black and pink domino background, and then it changes again to a normal-looking desert, but it has a red and orange striped-colored sand pattern. It's not really a big deal, but it isn't an epic visual sequence either. Very short comparison for the Mario movie, but for this round, the Sonic OVA movie wins for best animation and visuals. Alright, let's press the pause button on this video game movie analysis because that's it for part 1 of Sonic the Hedgehog OVA vs. Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, and let me know what you think down in the comments. Right now, it's not looking good for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, so resume back here for part 2 of this versus matchup and see if the Super Mario Bros. Movie can score some bonus points against the Sonic OVA movie, or see if it's already game over.